So here's the thing. YouTube's A/B thumbnail testing feature is a bit like that friend where they're amazing in some capacity, but they got some quirks that you're not too sure about. Hey, I'm Essetino, a YouTube marketing strategist for expert-based business owners, and we use this A/B thumbnail testing feature on an ongoing basis for our own channel, as well as for our clients' channels that we manage. And when I first started running these thumbnail tests, I noticed that some of them would come back inconclusive, some of them came back as preferred. It's really rare that we actually see a winner. So I want to share a couple things to keep in mind in case you're doing this for your channel, because it's going to help you apply this information so that you can use the thumbnail tests to improve the performance of your videos. So number one, the first thing to keep in mind is that YouTube, the way that they pick a winner for a thumbnail is not based on click-through rate. So when a test comes back, let's say you're testing 2 thumbnails or 3 thumbnails, like the one that you see here on the screen, you'll see a difference in percentages, or if it came back inconclusive, you won't see you'll see quite equal percentages. And at first glance, you're gonna think that this is the click-through rate. Like this outperformed, this has a better click-through rate and this has a lower click-through rate. But what this actually is, and it says up here, but I know from talking to a lot of people, they think it's a click-through rate still, is that YouTube measures the winner based on which thumbnail led to more watch time on that video. And if you hover over here, you can see here it explains that. The winning thumbnail generated the highest share of videos watch time. And when I first found this out, I was like, what? It should be click-through rate. But I understand why they do this, because YouTube's entire goal is they want to serve the right videos to the people who will watch them longer, because if you have more watch time, it means then that's the right video for the viewer. So watch time does matter more for long-term success, but it's kind of confusing because you might have a thumbnail that gets more clicks, but because it resulted in lower watch time, it won't be considered a winning thumbnail. So in that sense, you can't really generalize certain design patterns of your thumbnails and say like, oh, this is what gets more clicks. It's specific to each video because it's, again, gauging what led to more watch time on that particular video. So when we look at these 2 thumbnails, it says that this thumbnail resulted in a longer watch time versus this one here. So what does this mean for you? Well, it just means that when you're running these thumbnail tests, you're running them to result in more watch time on your channel. Just know that that's the goal. It's not to understand which designs get more clicks. And again, I get why YouTube does this, because they want to move away from the whole clickbait thing and just having people click on the thumbnail. They want to actually have people click on the thumbnail that are going to watch the video. But just know that that's the outcome that you're testing for here. The other thing to mention is why so many tests come back as inconclusive. You might have found this in running your own tests. This one came back as preferred. So it either will come back as inconclusive, preferred, or a clear winner. And even with the preferred thumbnails, you'll see here, this one thumbnail was preferred, but with limited confidence. So it's like, well, is this helpful for me at all? When you click on this Learn More link right here, then it'll take you to this page where it actually explains, like if I'm just gonna be scrolling down here, it explains what each of these actually mean. But the Coles Notes version is, if your thumbnails are coming back inconclusive, it likely means that either, number one, there weren't enough impressions on that video, meaning it didn't get shown enough for YouTube to actually run an accurate test. Or it could mean that the thumbnails performed too similarly, that there wasn't a conclusive result. And this usually, I've seen that this usually happens when there's not a clear difference between the 2 thumbnails. Now, that's subjective, because if I'm changing the text or an image on the thumbnail, to me, that's a clear difference. But I've really noticed that if the thumbnail's drastically different, the test will likely come back with some sort of a result versus inconclusive. If you're just changing the text, or you're just changing an image or an icon or something small like that, and also if it has low impressions, it's likely to come back inconclusive. So when you're running your tests, make sure that the thumbnails you're testing are vastly different, and you can test different styles. But you also need to pair this up with good SEO, optimizing your videos for search or for the browse or suggested algorithm so that it is getting impressions and YouTube is able to have enough data to run that test accurately. Also, make sure to not stop the test in the middle. So it runs for 14 days. And I know it can be tempting to kind of stop it in the middle, but let it run through the full course. It can take up to 14 days. So let it run through the full course to see what the conclusion is. I would also say to notice which videos are getting more views consistently. And I would encourage you to do an A/B thumbnail test on those videos because that will likely have more data for YouTube to run the test accurately versus a video that you've just released and may not necessarily get the impressions it needs to run that test. And by the way, I did a separate video on how to look for the videos that you want to run an A/B test on and how to actually run that A/B test accurately. So I'll share the link to that video in the description below. So the bottom line is that the A/B thumbnail testing feature can be powerful, but you have to understand how and where you're using it in order for that information to be useful for you. Use it strategically and it can give you valuable insights over time. And if you happen to be growing a YouTube channel specifically because you want to get more leads and clients, I do have a resource available for you. It's called the YouTube Authority Checklist, and I'll link to it in the description below. It's a way to help you self-audit your channel and make sure you're doing the steps in the right order to turn your channel into a traffic asset for your business. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.